few things right now. All right. So I'm gonna go through these slides. It's only about 10 slides, and then we're gonna get into kind of the main function for today's class. And again, what I planned on talking about originally is not what we're gonna talk about today, because I think you guys are definitely going to be more, benefit more with what's happening in the market from what we're gonna talk about now than what the original class was designed for. And then we'll talk about how you guys can position the best. All right. So first things first, who these classes are for and who these classes are not for. Okay, I want everybody to pay attention to this, because mindset and mentality is the biggest key to anything that we do in the market. All right, if you are one of these, if you have any of these characteristics in your body, in your bones, in your bloods, in your DNA, you might as well go and hit the X button right now, because it's not going to be pretty for you either on this class or in the market. All right. Who this class is for and who the markets are for, right, is people who have this type of mentality. Okay. You have to be willing to learn and unlearn, because if you knew everything already, A, you wouldn't be on this class call in the first place. B, you'd already be a gajillionaire. C, nobody ever knows everything. All right. So it's always good to have an open mind and pay attention to what other people might be saying and take it with a grain of salt. If it fits you, then it fits you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at least be willing to unlearn whatever it is you think you know and learn from somebody else, right? That's just a key to life in general. Two, we want to understand the risks of the market. The market is not a place where, there is no risk. People ask me all the time, isn't the stock market like gambling? Yes, it is. The stock market is 100% gambling. I don't care what anybody else has to say about that one. I will stand on that. Now, the thing about gambling is there are skill-based gambling games and there are non-skill-based gambling games. And I'll give you an example. If you go to the slot machine at the casino and you're just putting your money into the slot machine, that is not a skill-based game. People who are trading without a strategy, people who are trading without understanding technicals, people who are trading based on what they see on social media, those people are putting their money into a slot machine. There are people who play poker, and there are world-class poker players. Poker is gambling. However, there are people on this planet, if you sit down at a table with them to play poker, they will take your money, okay? And that is how the market works, okay? You're playing against a very talented, very skillful poker player, and they will take your money if you're not careful, okay? Three, you have to have patience with yourself, and you have to have patience with the markets. Patience with yourself, meaning you can't get upset at yourself. You can't, try to rush your process if you are making mistakes in the market. If things aren't working your way, you have to be able to forgive yourself, get back in the game, pick up, dust off. You have to have patience with the market, because the market will not always do what you want it to do. That is, anybody that tells you that they know 100% what is going to happen is lying, okay? Now, there are things that can give us a little bit of insight into what's happening in the market. Hey, my guy, Ron Savvy, man, what's going on with you? I haven't seen you in a long time, bro. Good to see you. So there's people who, that can get a little bit of insight, right? What I did with, knowing or figuring that the market was likely to pull back at some point in time, there are certain things that are giving you that piece of information. Nobody knows when it's going to rain outside, right? Even meteorologists don't get it right all the time, right? But there's certain things that they have. There's certain tools that they have. The clouds start looking a certain kind of way. That you can feel it in the air. There's certain things that give you insight that something is likely to happen. But can they guarantee and say, yes, it's going to rain 100% tomorrow at 12 p.m.? No. Okay. And that's how it works with anybody trading in the market as well. Okay. Anybody who wants to replace or supplement their 9-to-5 income with the market. All right. I am not here to promise you that you are going to get rich in the stock market. That is just not the case. A lot of people, 98% of the people, will not necessarily get extraordinarily rich trading in the stock market. You can get very extraordinarily rich pretty, a lot easier investing into the stock market, especially if you have a higher income and you're able to put more capital aside, right? If you're smart with your money and you have patience and you have time to wait, there's great chances that you can get very wealthy in the market over 5, 10, 15 years, depending on how much money you invest into the market. But to say that you're going to trade your way to a, $1 billion or $1 million or whatever it is, takes a lot of skill set. And, that's not really what I want you to shoot for. What I want you to shoot for is I want you to replace or supplement your 9 to 5 income with trading in the market. It's step one. Once you can replace or supplement your income in the market, now you have more freedom and you have the ability to make some better decisions financially, okay? And then sixth, this class specifically is for people who want to take trades with peace of mind and not scalping. Okay, I'm not here to teach you how to scalp. And if you don't know what scalping is, it means you're in and out of a trade in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. Not to say it's not a great way to trade. That's just not what I prefer to teach, because I don't think that most people are designed to do that. I think it takes a very specific person. And right now, I am speaking to the masses. I want this class and everything I do to be, doable for the 99% of people out there, and not just the 5 to 10% of people who have the mindset and the skill set and the determination to do high risk, high reward scalps, right? So that's kind of what this whole thing is for. This is for people who really want to stop being confused in the market and what to do and start just having a little bit more peace of mind in their trading. All right, so don't be stuck in your way. Don't have get rich quick plans or mentality. Don't have the time or willingness to learn. Most importantly, if you do not have the time to learn, or you don't have the willingness, or you can't make the time, and you rather scroll on TikTok and Instagram, then it's not for you. And if you're expecting to never take a loss, this is not for you. Okay, there are losses. We take losses in the market. It's part of the game. We actually, you learn to love the losses at some point, right? Especially if you learn to manage your losses, it actually doesn't feel too bad. All right. First thing I want everybody to know, number one, the only thing I really want everybody to know is that the market is trained and designed to take your money. Trained and designed. That is the point of the market. When I say the market, I am really talking about the institutions who have billions and trillions of dollars out there to shake you up out of your money. Now, it's not just the hedge funds and the institutions, it's also the news media. The news media is part of the market, okay? And you know this because, and I want you to pay attention to this, Donald Trump crashed the market today with a tweet or a whatever he posted on Truth Social, okay? The news media got up and pushed it out to the rest of the world. They did it on a Friday, okay? Because the market is going to be closed over the weekend. There'll probably be other things that you'll see. The market news cycle will talk about this tariff thing all weekend. And then Monday morning, before 9 a.m., we'll probably get some other news update on something else that will impact the market in one way or another. They do it time and time again, okay? They will build fear and get you to sell. And then when they get you to sell the thing, look at Tesla, for example. They had all this beef with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. Had nothing to do with the stock itself, and they crashed Tesla stock like nobody's business. What did Elon do? He went back and bought up shares of the company. Other people, other wealthier people were buying up those shares left and right, while regular 9 to 5 everydayers are selling because they're upset with Elon being in the government. They don't like him personally, whatever it is. So they trick you out of your position with the news cycle, and then they make themselves rich by buying your shares at a cheaper price. And then once it's super, super high, everything is good, blah, 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 they go in and they sell to you at a higher price. The market is designed in this way, right? It's a very intricate system that's been happening way before you or I had ever even heard of a stock, okay? So I say this to say that it's not only, the fact that institutions and hedge funds have, very advanced technology. They buy your data to see what it is you're trading. They work with companies like Robinhood. If anybody was trading back in the day with GameStop and AMC, you guys saw that happen firsthand, where hedge funds were literally pressing to freeze people's accounts, not let them trade. The GameStop thing, because it was bankrupting them. They buy data from Robinhood. That's how they're able to. That's how Robinhood survives without charging you money to trade on the platform. All right. And so they take that data to see what everyday people are doing with their money, and they use it for their own trading knowledge. All right. They spend trillions and trillions of dollars, billions of dollars to make sure that they win and you lose. Their job is to win in the market. It's your job to not lose. Okay. Now, there's three things that I'm really honing in on this go round of teaching stocks and options, because I did take a long hiatus. I've been going for probably about 2 years when it comes to teaching all this stuff. But I think that it's important because I don't see too many people who are really teaching stocks and options from the perspective that I think it needs to be taught. So these are the things that I want everybody to understand. It's only three things that you need to be good at when it comes to beating the market and making sure that you are successful in the market. It's not, a gazillion different things on your chart. It's not following the best call out groups in the world. It's not any of that type of stuff, right? What it is it's having a battle tested strategy, meaning a strategy that is actually repeatable, that has worked in the past, that you've seen work in the past, that it works, right? And it might not work 100% of the time, but it works more times than not, and it works for you, all right? Having a tested technical, fundamental, and sentimental setup that gives you an edge. Now, again, I'll give you an example of this, okay? A technical, fundamental, sentimental setup would be something like, let's say you find companies that are overbought, right? Above 70, above 80 even sometimes. The fundamentals do not line up with the technicals. So for example, there's a lot of quantum stocks right now and a lot of tech stocks right now where the fundamentals don't line up with the technicals. If you don't know what fundamentals are, fundamentals means the business itself, okay? The revenue of the company, the expenses of the company, the all these things, right? Anything that has to do with the business, not the stock, okay? The underlying business. Is the company generating the revenue consistently over time? Is the company have a good return on investment, et cetera, et cetera? Fundamentals, okay? And there's something in fundamentals we call price to earnings and price to sales, right? How much are we paying for stock compared to how much the equity the company is bringing in, how much revenue the company is bringing in? All right. So when you see a stock that has a fundamental setup that is the company is not making as much money as the stock is showing, right? The stock is, let's say, at $100 a share, and the company is only generating the equivalent of $5 a share in revenue, right? Well, then at that point, you're paying 20 times the value of the shares that you're holding, right? So the fundamental story doesn't really line up. Now, the technical on the stock is also overbought. The company is really, really high. All right, so the company's really high, the stock is high, the company is not doing as well as the stock would show, and the sentiment now starts to shift. Let's say the sentiment was initially, oh, quantum stocks are going to the moon, oh, tech stocks are going to the moon, etc. But then the sentiment starts to shift where the market starts to say things like, and we saw maybe a few months ago, I think it was maybe like last year, I think last year, where this happened in AI chip stocks. NVIDIA was the beast in the market and still is the beast in the market. But when the news cycle started to say, the sentiment in the market started to say that China released DeepSeek, right? And DeepSeek was built on old NVIDIA GPUs. Well, when they said that, then NVIDIA stock dropped almost overnight. In 1 second, we had massive drops in NVIDIA stock because the sentiment was, if China can build the equivalent of ChatGPT with old NVIDIA chips, then all these new NVIDIA chips that are being sold don't really need to be sold. So that shifted the sentiment and it dropped NVIDIA stock, right? So that is a strategy that can be used. There's a technical setup, the fundamental setup, and the sentiment all lines up, and you have battle tested strategy, all right? The second thing is being able to find your setups that you like at scale. So the ability to find them at scale, meaning I'm not just looking at one setup. I have 10 potential setups that fit what I'm looking for right in front of me. All right. And the reason it's important to find your setups at scale is because if you're only dealing with one or two setups at a time and you don't get these setups very often, chances are you're going to start to get antsy. You're going to want to make a trade. You're going to want to take a trade, even if it's not the best trade for you at the time, even if your setup is not 100%. And your setup is not going to work 100% of the time. So if your setup works 70% of the time and you only have two trades in front of you, there's a chance that one of those trades may not work out. But if you have 10 trades in front of you, you now have 7 that would potentially work out, and your odds of winning is a lot higher. So being able to find your strategy at scale is the second thing. And then the third thing is ruthless execution. How well do you enter and exit your setups according to your game plan and without emotion? Again, here's another great example. I took a trade on UNH recently. I set a stop loss at 366. I knew that at that level I was going to get out if UNH didn't go the way I wanted it to. Right? It went up the way I wanted it to the day before, made a little bit of profit, didn't hit my target price, came down the next day. We had this big crash in the market, etc. It now hit my stop loss. I have to get out where I wanted and when I told myself I would get out. If I hold on to that trade because I'm emotionally attached to seeing that trade work out, I end up losing a lot more than the little bit that I put up. So having a ruthless execution and a non-emotional execution of your strategy is a key part of winning in the market. If you can do these 3 things, you will win in the market 9 times out of 10. Not necessarily 9 trades out of 10, but you win overall long term in the market. All right. So that is what it is. So what we're here to do is to turn you from this stressed out character over here to my guy over here, Mr. Cosby. I'm not gonna say my guy because he's been convicted of things that we don't need to talk about on this class. But you know, he's just a GIF. He's just a GIF, just a meme. All right. So, so what we got here is I'm not trying to get canceled on the class call. You know what I'm talking about? All right. So what we got here is we got Chico V6. All right. So for anybody who doesn't know already, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this right now because I really want to get into what's going on in the market right now. But I think it's important you guys also know what we have available for you with this particular tool and how I tend to trade and find the setups that I find. All right. This is the tool that we have that we built. Let me actually zoom in a little bit on this so you guys can actually see it. All right. So the cheat code V6 is a combination of this very colorful setup of indicators here. All right. Now, we designed this so that it's easy for you to understand and see certain things without having to do too much, crazy chart work and all this other type of stuff and being super duper stressed out. It's very straightforward to understand the colors. When you're in red zones, the stock is getting too hot. When you see yellow zone, right, that tells you that you probably want to slow down. When you're in the blue zone, things have been cooled off and need to warm up again, and so on and so forth. All right, so the candlesticks are colored according to that. When it's in the yellow, orange areas, this is kind of like a neutral times. Blues are extreme oversold, reds are extreme overbought. So you can see right now, this is Tesla's chart. You had a big, huge bearish engulfing yellow candlestick up in this red zone in a sell phase, and shortly after we had a nice strong sell move on Tesla currently. Same thing up here. Nice red candles, yellow candlestick, sell signal shortly after, goes all the way down to the blue, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, this indicator here we use something called confluence, right? Confluence means how many things are telling the same story. Okay. Well, if let's say up here we have the candlesticks that are in a blue zone, this is telling us that the stock is oversold and it's too cold. And then down here we also have our swing and our squeeze, which also is in the blue zone and is down here at the bottom of the barrel at this little green line here. And the squeeze is also in the blue area. Well, this starts to give us a picture that, yes, the stock is truly oversold, okay? And that means a stock that's oversold is likely to kind of warm up again, right? So this is your accumulation area down here. And if you're familiar with stock market phases, you have accumulation and distribution is your accumulation area, right? So where you accumulate your stock at. This is where a lot of people were really upset at Elon and all this other type of stuff, and Donald Trump is beefing and blah, blah, blah. This is where you'd want to start accumulating a lot of shares of Tesla before it takes off. Okay, that's accumulation area. So confluence means we have multiple things that are telling us the same story. So we have up here in the cheat code, you have buy signals with the strong trends. That is one thing. This little green line, this green cloud up here that's going in an upward direction. This is a trend. When the trend is upward, that's where we want to be in. When it's flat, that's where we want to hold on and see what it's going to do. We want to see that this also is trending in an upward direction, and this is trending in an upward direction. This gives us what we call a 4 out of 4 confirmation. 1 is the buy signal, 2 is the uptrend in the cloud, 3 is the cloud as the swing down here trending upwards, and 4 is the squeeze trending upwards. Does that make sense to everybody? Let me just stop real quick and check in with y'all to make sure everybody gets that. If you understand that, then go ahead and drop a 1 in the chat so I understand and everybody else understands, and we all understand and we understand each other. All right. If you have any questions, you can drop a question in the chat also if you have a question on them before I move on. All right, so everybody's on the same page. Cool. All right, so again, cheat code algo is designed in this way to give us that information. So when we look a little bit closer, we'll see that we also have sell phases, and the 4for4 works the same on the sell side, okay? Sell signal, downtrend in the cloud. You get a downtrend in the swing down here. You get a downtrend in the squeeze. Okay, that's 4for4. This is the area where you want to look at taking some puts. Now, yes, you could take puts up in here, right? A lot of people want to take puts right up in the very, very top, and sure, that could win potentially, but the squeeze is still going up, the swing is still going up. So guess what? This could go, you take a put position here, but the next day it shoots up and it stresses you out. And if you don't get the right options contract, let's say you get an options contract that expires that week, you could be right that this is going down, but the timing of it, right? Your options contract expires in 2-3 weeks. When this goes up, that wipes out your options contract, and now you're pretty pissed. And then the next few weeks it goes down. So if you want to get in at the best time, you wait for everything to line up. So here you got 4 out of 4 going in your direction. Take your put there, and now you're straight down, right? You get a nice little bounce there, potential area to take some profit, et cetera, all right? So we'll go over that in a second. Now, the second part, this covers the cheat code itself is designed to cover the battle-tested strategy part, all right? We designed that to cover the battle-tested strategy part. There's multiple ways you can use the cheat code to create strategies and work strategies, but the main strategy we use is the 4for4. We know it works. We've been using it for 4+ years now. For anybody who was part of cheat code in the past, you know it. You've been familiar with it. We know it works. Of course, it doesn't work 100% of the time, especially if you're trading options, but it works more times than it doesn't, and it keeps you out of a lot of trouble if you stick with it. All right, so that covers that. Now, the second part is being able to find these setups at scale. So we have the V6 screener. This will allow you to find stocks that are doing certain things at certain times. All right, so with this, you'll see that it tells you when a stock is currently breaking out, when a stock is currently in a strong buy phase, when a stock is ranging, meaning consolidating. Consolidating means it's basically kind of bouncing in between, doesn't know which direction it wants to go in. When it will tell you when there's a strong sell, and it'll also give you some other information, right? The 4for4, when it has a check mark, this is telling you that there is a 4for4 currently in the direction that you are looking. So if it's a strong sell, there's currently a 4for4 on that stock to the downside. You can see this stock was down 46 days or 46 periods in a row. Now, this tells us that it's going down, but you'll also notice there are some other colors behind the signal, okay? And the colors represent a few things. This says it's a strong sell, but the green behind it tells us it's currently in an oversold area. So if you have a stock that is down for 46 days, it's in a blue zone, and it's currently oversold in the oversold area, what do you think is likely to happen to that stock over the next few days? Put your guesses in the section. What do you think is likely to happen to a stock that is down for 46 periods and now is in an oversold area? Reversal, breakout, potential buy zones. Exactly, reversal. Reversal is the answer. Chances are this stock is likely to reverse or bounce, yes. So if I am sitting here and I am not looking at a single candlestick, I can currently see from this little panel that Kenvue is currently in a strong downtrend, but it's likely that this stock is a potential reversal candidate. NVIDIA, I can see is a buy. It has a yellow box behind it. What do you think yellow probably means? Yellow would mean caution, right? That yes, it's in a buy phase, but hey, be cautious. Here's another buy signal on QQQ. Hey, be cautious, right? Now, mind you, this screenshot was taken last week on Thursday before our last class, okay? So this is what we were looking at. We got breakouts over here, showing us where we got breakouts. We are in oversold area or overbought areas on that. So this gives us a lot of information by just looking at a panel without having to go scan through a bajillion different stocks, okay? So that is the basis of what it is the cheat code V6 does, how it works, etc. With this information, now I'm going to show you, we're going to kind of touch on the charts, and I'm going to show you exactly what we are currently going through in the market and how you need to be prepared for it, because again, there's a huge opportunity to be able to make a lot of money in the market if we can identify the periods of time where the market is likely to reverse. All right. So I'm going to go on to TradingView. If you're familiar with TradingView, which everybody should be. All right. And we are going to look at the chart just as it is. All right. This is one hell of a candlestick. That is one hell of a candlestick to see on a chart. That drop is absolutely crazy. And it is a drop that likely is not going to just go away, over the next day, 2 days, etc. Now, what I'll show you guys is that we are currently on the swing down here in very overbought territory. This is where, like I said, the market was getting very hot. Here it is again, when we got to that level down there, we got a nice little drop right here. And now we got into another overbought area and we got another drop. What I want to do is I want to actually go back to previous times, so that you guys, if you're not familiar with the past, can get familiar with the past, because the past is important to understand the future. I hate to get too philosophical, but it's important. Okay. So this is 2021. Let's go back to 2020. Okay. This is February of 2020. This is COVID-19. This was the COVID-19 drop. If you were not around at this time, this was one hell of an experience. This was the beginning of a lot of things for a lot of people when it comes to the market. Okay. Now, what do we see here in 2020? We also were hitting the same overbought area, right? Now, that first time we hit that overbought area, we got a little drop. It is irrational or irrational. A lot of times you'll still see it push up. This area here was when big money started to get out and started to sell their positions. Earlier on this year, a guy named Ben, what's his name? What's his freaking name? What's this guy's name? Bill Ackman. Okay, Bill Ackman had put a big bet against the market. Nobody knew it was Bill Ackman at the time, but he had put a big bet against the market that the market was going to crash. He knew it. I knew it earlier back then too. This is how me and Jay even started Cheat Code in the first place, was because there was something called the bond yield inversions that I saw. And I knew it was going to crash at some point. I didn't know it was going to be all this, but I knew it was, again, the writing was on the wall, right? So this is where what ended up happening. So we end up going down. The market ends up going back up, but if you look here, the swing is still pointed in a downward direction. So again, this is what I mean when I say confluence and why confluence is so important, right? So this is what we call a divergence. When the price is going one direction and another indicator is going a different direction, you have a divergence. This means what's happening right here is not telling the real story, okay? So that's why we like to see multiple things. So if you're paying attention to some, this is when the market starts to crash. So fortunately for us, I had already been hip to this, and I told Jay months in advance that this was likely to happen, right? So we were kind of prepared. So during this time, this is when we actually were, we had people in Cheat Code that we started Cheat Code back then in a Discord, in a group chat on Instagram. It was actually called Invest Academy at the time. And we started making money hand over fist, taking puts all up and down through here. All right, so that's how we actually started to blow up in the first place back then. So what I want you guys to understand is, again, looking right here, we see another time period where we got up to that area up here, and shortly after, got that big drop and another big drop. Now, looking at the chart right now, this may not seem as bad. Like, it's not a huge drop. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. This was these moves right here were bloody. This people were losing their shit at this time. This was a very like crazy time because this is like literally almost a full, like this from September 23rd to this is a whole month of just the market just bleeding, hemorrhaging down multiple percentages. But if you pay attention here, you'll see there also we were down in the oversold area, and this was at the time where we wanted to enter in and start buying things at that time. When the market is dropping, there's no telling whether it's going to be one of these or if it's going to be one of these. Nobody really knows. We don't know how far the market is going to drop. We don't know if it's going to be one of these or if it's going to be something small like that. There's no telling. We don't know, right? So what we have to do is we have to be prepared for any sign that the market is likely to reverse from a particular point. All right, so what we're going to be doing on this is going to be going through how to find those times. So when you turn the cheat code on, again, you'll see that we have a few things down here telling us a story. All right, the market drops. Okay, we get the first blue candlestick telling us we're oversold, right? But we're still in a very strong downtrend. So some people assumed that, okay, we're oversold. This little point right here where the market bounces up and bounces higher, they might assume that this is going up and just going to this, okay? But this is where a lot of people lose a lot of money because they will buy the dip at a time like this, even though other things, the cheat code particularly, is telling us it's not time yet to get in to the market because things are still going in a downward direction, all right? So a lot of people put more money back into the market and then they got it snatched right out of their hands again. We actually saw this happen in real time. There's a guy named Sammy. I don't know if Sammy is on this call right now. I doubt it. He always like to lurk. But Sammy, Adu, he was quite a character. He was one of the first people in cheat code, and he was very confident in his trading skills. Not a bad guy, great guy, but we used to bump heads all the time. And these are times where the market would go up, and you go buying up everything, and then he'd get flushed right out, and then we wouldn't see him again for a few weeks or a month until he read up and got back in. We've seen this happen multiple times. Jay laughing, it's crazy time, all right? And so the market drops all the way back down, right? But now we get something down here that we start seeing these yellow candlesticks. And we see these yellow candlesticks at the bottom of this area here. All right. This is where we get our confluence, okay? The green triangles here on the G code tell us that this is likely a short-term bottoming point, and the yellow candlestick tells us that this downtrend is likely to slow down or potentially reverse. So you have a strong trend down. You have the stock telling you, hey, this downtrend needs to slow down. The triangles are telling us, hey, this might be a short-term bottom. The swing is telling us, hey, we're extremely oversold. The squeeze is telling us we're extremely oversold. And then shortly after, you get a buy signal that goes up. That's 2, 3 going up, 4 going up. So we get a 4 for 4 at the bottom of that trend. So this is where we want to get in. And obviously that was the very lowest point that the market has ever been and ever returned to. And so getting into long-term stock positions down here would have been amazing. Getting into leap calls down here worked out amazing. All that. All right. So this is kind of how we want to start to look at things. Now, there's also a few other things that we look at as well. We'll look at another example real quick. We could look at, let's see if we can find another extremely oversold area, right? Overbought area. So here we have another example where we started getting to that overbought zone up here. Overbought, yellow candlestick. And we started on a downtrend for almost, what is that? Almost about 4 or 5 months, right? Now here we get into overbought territory and the market just shrugs it off and keeps on going. We start entering overbought here. We end up overbought up here, right? We don't actually end up turning around or turning down until we get to this point. So there are times where the market can stay very irrational for quite some time. This is why I said it's not just about one thing, it's about the confluence that you see across the board, right? So when we got to this point, we would have been watching and waiting for the market to have a pullback. We didn't get it for almost 4 months, but here you get a big bearish engulfing candlestick, and then you get this 4 for 4 down here. So this was our opportunity to potentially get some puts at that point, right? Same thing right here. We get to another point. Now this one down here, we weren't necessarily overbought on this one. Over here, we pretty much were in pretty neutral territory, but we started crashing regardless. But this is where we started to get some signs of life. Again, we get into a blue zone down here, yellow candlestick, green indicator. We get an uptrend. We get an uptrend, and we get another uptrend. And this is where we wanted to look at entering back into the market. So this brings us to where we are now. All right. Actually, before I even go there, I'm actually going to show you guys one more thing. All right. This is called Fibonacci levels. If you're not familiar with Fibonacci levels, definitely take out the notebooks if you don't already have one. But this is very, very, very key to pay attention to. All right. So Fibonacci levels, if you come in a trading view, you come here on the left-hand side, 3 down from the top in your tools section, there's a little button called Fib Retracement. If you click on that and you find the most recent trend from the bottom to the top of the most recent trend, you get something that looks like this, okay? Now, Fibonacci retracement basically works by giving us key levels. And for anybody here who's into anything esoteric, right? And those of y'all who know what esoteric means, you know what I'm talking about, okay? A little bit woo-woo, or just into understanding how nature works. There's something called Fibonacci. All right, let me actually just pull it up real quick. Fibonacci sequence. It shows up in life in many different ways. It looks like this. You'll see it in different places like pine cones, for example. You'll see it in flowers. You'll see it all over. This is a mathematical. Oh, look, you even see it in Donald Trump's ear and head shape, the shape of his medulla oblongata. So look, it's all over the place, right? Pyramids, galaxies, all that. Everything is everything is done with Fibonacci, okay? Now, even the human body, right? The human body is also based on Fibonacci sequences in certain kind of ways. I'm not gonna get too, too deep into it. But the point is, there's certain ratios that make life just what it is. Okay. And the Fibonacci sequence is one of those ratios. Okay. There's certain numbers and certain levels that are important. 236, 382, 0.5, 0.618. These are percentages. Okay. So what we're doing here is to mark out the top of a run, the bottom of a run all the way to the top of a run, and the percentage, 61.8 percentage retracement level is a key level. The stock might pull back to 61.8% of the previous low to high. The other level is 236, 0.236, 0.382. These stocks like to find reverse, right? So if you look at that previous drop that we had, this is again another confluence, like I was mentioning. Okay, so here, if we're trading at this time, the market is dropping, the market is dropping, the market is dropping. Well, we get a bounce off of this 618 level, and then we get that yellow candlestick, and the buy signals happen right in between the 0.5 and 0.618 level. This is a very strong indication that this is pretty much a safe zone, because 618 is one of the most significant Fibonacci levels out there. It's a very strong, this means that you have had a complete retracement, and it's likely that the stock will continue from that point if you get a reversal signal. You'll see here that at the 238 level, we tried to make a stand at 238, but it didn't work out, right? And you also notice it bounces off of that level a few times. But it tried to make a stand there, and it didn't work, and it got sent straight to 618. And then you have some choppiness and some signals to now get back in, all right? So that's one. The other thing, and we'll look at another example of this as well. If I go back, I'll find another example. Let me take this off so it's easy to see. Let me actually put this on the weekly. All right. So we can go back and do the same thing for this run right here. So if I pull from down here to down here, would you look at that, right? Right off of the 0.5 level. This one retraced right off that 0.5 level, okay? And that last part down there actually just so happened to be at the top of the previous high. So if you guys are already trading, you know that old resistance becomes new support. So let me actually pull this again from right here. So again, so if you look here, the old high point from the last 2022 run lines up almost perfectly with the 618 level of that new run. And that's right where the stock ended up bouncing off of, right? So if we were to do that now, taking that same concept and idea, if we were to pull from the bottom, this gives us some potential targets as well. First target being down here at 633 or 629, and then the 0.5 level being down here at 578, and the 0.6 level being down here at 557 for the S&P 500. So at any one of these levels, if we start to see that there is a reversal signal, like we get a 4 for 4 on the cheat code, getting buy signals, we give anything along those lines, this is where we want to start looking at potentially entering in. And there's also a couple other things that we're going to look at as well. And I want you guys to also pay attention to this too, because the cheat code also works on the weekly time frame as well. So this is the weekly time frame. We're overbought. We had that downtrend. Same thing here. Right before we had this one on the weekly, we were also overbought up here right before we had that one. And now we were just now reaching overbought levels again. And now we're having another potential downside on the market currently. All right. So this is why it's so important to pay attention to what's going on with the indicators in the market that we have in front of us. On the weekly time frame, if you're familiar with the bearish engulfing, And I'm going to stop for a second and get any questions because I know I'm throwing a lot at you guys, especially if you have never traded before. But if you're familiar with trading, you know that this is a bearish engulfing candlestick and it's a yellow candlestick as well. And the yellow candlesticks on the weekly tend to give us, again, another bearish engulfing yellow candlestick. We get a nice strong downtrend there. All right, let me show you guys bearish engulfing if you don't know what that is. A bearish engulfing is basically when you have the body of one candlestick. Let me actually do this one. You have the body of a red candlestick that the high and the low of that candlestick completely engulfs the green candlestick that came before it. All right. This tells us that this stock is likely to reverse. So when you get that on a weekly time frame, where you have a bearish engulfing yellow candlestick on the weekly time frame, again, this is not a false alarm. Chances are this is likely to head to lower levels. Again, we want to pull our fib levels to see where those levels might be. So currently, again, we have some potential targets here. Now, on the cheat code, there's one more thing that I want to show you in regards to this that you also want to use as well, especially if you're already somebody who is actively trading in the market. My beginners, just stick with me for a second. I promise I'm not going to leave y'all behind. Just hold on 1 minute. All right. So once you have your fib levels, you also have this right here. In the cheat code, you have, let me actually turn this, get this out the way. You also have something called order blocks. Okay. And order blocks tend to give us good insight into some potential reversal areas as well. So you'll notice that this order block here, we bounce out of a few times. This is also some potential target areas, okay? But when you line up the fibs with the order blocks, you get another strong area of potential reversals, okay? So basically in this region between 630 and 638, you can expect that we may likely bounce out of this area at some point. So if this drops down by Monday or Tuesday and hits this region, chances are we may do something like that, right? Doesn't mean that it's going to go like this. Probably not. This move right here, I think, is a lot stronger. But if we get a 4-for-4 confirmation or we get some other bullish signals, then yeah, take what the market gives you. Again, you know, I can't say for sure what it's going to do, but my hunch here is that chances are we'll get a bounce around that area, and a lot of people will probably buy in, thinking it's just a buy the dip type of time, and then we'll probably go down to a lower level like the 600 area where we have 382, plus we also have an order block sitting down there as well, and that could potentially be an area where I would feel more comfortable getting some long-term positions on that. Could keep crashing beyond that, or it could bounce higher. There's no telling. I don't know. I'm not a psychic. But again, we take what the market gives us. All I can say is this is one hell of a candlestick to come out of nowhere, right? And I don't think it's just, you know, what's going on with this China thing. I mean, it could get a lot uglier before it gets better. This is a potential, if he goes through with 100% tariffs on China, that could be pretty bad for the market for a long time. So that's that on that. I'm gonna stop for a second and see if I got any questions in the chat. Anybody got any Anybody got any questions out there? If you're good, get a thumbs up in the chat. If you are good on everything I just said, if you're with me, let me know. Where my thumbs up at? Hey, there's 90 of y'all on this. Yeah, let me see some thumbs ups, goddamn it. Come on now. All right, cool. It's 90 of y'all on this call. I need to see some thumbs up. Good. All right, cool. Is there onboarding setup? Yes, there is an onboarding setup. I actually just worked on a new set of videos. I just got done with those videos for the screener itself. But for cheat code V5, there are setup videos, yes. All right, cool. Everybody's cool. Good. Cool.
There was a question
All
I
right.
answered this earlier, but people were asking where they could get the algo and questions of that nature. So I sent the link to
All
that
right.
particular
Let me touch.
individual.
All right.
Perhaps I should just, yeah.
All right. So let me stop for a second and just give y'all a brief understanding before I keep going with the class. For anybody here, there is 3 things that we have that we offer you guys right now. If you know about Cheat Code in the past, we were a big trading community. We had a huge community. It got too big for my peace of mind, too big for Jay's peace of mind, too much drama, too many issues. And so we decided to shut down the community a while back. We may reopen it at some point in time in the near future. But for right now, there's 3 things that we work on. One is the algo plus the screener. Obviously, that's what we got for you guys right there. Jay has a Discord, a discount code that he can drop for you guys. We're currently running a lifetime offer on the algo plus the screener. Literally, lifetime means any future updates we do on it, anything you guys need on it, or whatever it may be. You have that. That is $1,000 one time, and you own the algo forever, no matter what happens. You can also get it monthly. We have a coupon code for algo monthly. It takes it down to like $75 a month, so you can get that as well. We're a 4-week masterclass in November for all my beginners and people who want to have more of a in-depth training from beginning to end. We'll be doing a 4-week masterclass. It also comes with the textbook. So this textbook that everybody was talking about in the chat earlier, again, appreciate you guys for the feedback, because since I dropped this, I really haven't done a good job of like promoting it, putting it out there like that. I think we did, maybe early on, but it's a phenomenal asset to have. It literally covers everything from beginning to end, whether it's technicals, fundamentals, everything. And that book also comes with videos as well. And I'm working on a whole new set of videos for the textbook that you'll get as QR codes in the book that you can, you just scan the QR code, it takes you to the video where you'll see my face in there, again, talking and teaching on that. I'm only 12 years old and is doing good, turned 25 to 300. Bro, nah, no way. 12-year, we got a 12-year-old on the call, bro. Oh, no. That's what's like. Everybody go drop fire emojis on bro's message. That's dope. That's dope, man. My son is 13, so you guys will get along really, really well. Shout out to the young boys, man. We are in a different time. Shout out to your dad. Hopefully your dad is on the call as well. Shout out to him. Alina, you're also 12? Like, are you, or what are we talking about here? We got a bunch of 13 and 12-year-olds? Like, that is up. Daniel, man, what? Yo, appreciate y'all, man. That's so dope. We're gonna do something for the kids out there, man, for sure. Somebody said, I bought the algo and screener after the first class and made 1K using the screener shorting Home Depot. That's a good one. Home Depot was definitely on there. I'm glad you caught that. Appreciate you, man. That's awesome. Damn, for all the kids on the call, if you guys are there, definitely have your parents send me an email. Have your parents send me an email, because I definitely want to do something with the younger folks. Again, my son is 13 years old, so I definitely want to do something with y'all. All right, let me get back. I'm gonna get sidetracked with the comments, man. Man, that's so dope. All right, so basically, y'all, so let me be clear. There's lifetime access to the algo, and there is the masterclass that starts in November 1st. All right. You can get either or, both are $1,000 separately. You can get both. Reach out if you want both. We could definitely do some type of bundle deal for you. Just shoot us an email if that's something you're interested in. And yeah, that's that. You can split payments or however you want to do it. Just shoot us an email. The masterclass, we're going to be covering everything, technicals, everything we're doing right now times like 10. You know what I mean? And the textbook does come with the 4-week masterclass. All right. So just so you guys understand what there is to offer before we go forward, just so y'all know what's going on. But I'm gonna get back to the actual class. All right. And we'll talk about the rest of that later on. The discount codes are going to be in the chat. Jay's dropping the links and the discount codes if you guys decide to grab those. After the calls, we don't actually have the discount codes up anymore. Lifetime for cheat code algo is actually about $3,000 for a lifetime. But just make sure if you want it, just grab it on the call because it's not going to be available outside the call. All right, so let me get back to what we were talking about. Algo and you kind of identifying where to get in. Now, what I want to show you next is the screener itself, okay? So this is why the screener is extremely helpful because let me go back. All right, let me go back to about 3 days ago and what the screener was showing 3 days ago, okay? On the S&P 500, it shows strong buy, 4 for 4, overbought. But again, what do you guys notice about the buy signal that it was giving us? On both the S&P and the QQQ. S&P is giving us strong buy, but it's telling us, hey, this thing is overbought. Remember the same way we saw it to the downside when we saw the strong sell on KView and it had the green behind it. Here you have the red behind it. And it's telling you, hey, this thing is in a buy phase, but don't go for it because it's overbought. Same thing with QQQ. It's giving us a buy signal, but there is a caution behind that buy signal, okay? It's right there. All right, we've been in an uptrend for 26 periods on QQQ. We're in overbought territory. So again, this is telling us, hey, chances are this thing is probably not going to do what you want it to do. The next day on the S&P on Tuesday, October 7th, right, which is actually when I dropped that video, all right, we have the buy signal. Now we've gone from red to yellow. Now the S&P is giving us a caution signal. All right, same thing with QQ is now turned red. IWM is now turned yellow, right? So all these things, this thing is starting to look a little bit iffy, right? Now we go to the next thing.
Hey, Francis, I think your screen froze. Can you type a 1 in the chat if you can hear Francis, or if you froze, just type 2 for me, please, just so I can make sure I'm not okay, solid. Yeah, he should hop on in just a second. Can you go over Tesla? I'll make sure to pin that, see if we have enough time. Let's see. I purchased Lifetime last week. I need the 4-week masterclass. Where do I email about the bundle? Email cheat code algo. So for those of you that want to get the bundle, please let me put this here just so it's to everybody. Email cheatcodealgo@gmail.com. How you guys liking this classes though? Just want to get some feedback while we're getting Quay back here. Love it. I have a question. As many as the bundle payment plan. I love it. Great information, great class. I definitely need more help understanding the fundamentals. Definitely comes to the 4-week masterclass if that's the case. It's going to be very hands-on. You're going to have the textbook, learning materials. Come on, man. This is dope as always. Is this an upgrade to Trade Hero? No. That is separate. Let's see what happened. I think we lost Francis. His laptop, he's notorious for having a bazillion tabs open. If you've been here for a while, you know. He's a mad scientist type of person, so he likely and he's also international right now, so just be patient. He's currently in Ghana, West Africa. I don't know how many people know. I was recently in Italy myself, so I do understand the Wi-Fi struggles and sometimes internet. But he should hop on any second. The screener seems very useful. Yes, the screener is very dope. You literally get to actually receive alerts when a stock or anything like that gets a 4 for 4 confirmation. So it makes things a lot easier. You don't have to be, scanning through every single chart to find a 4 for 4. The screener does that for you. So it's truly a next level tool. Is this masterclass for true beginners?
Hey
Yes, it's
man,
for true
I was going to
beginners. There you go. You're back. I'll let you take over. I was getting some feedback in the comments, but
the
I'll
name.
mute and go for it.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. Sometimes, man, the internet just be hating, man. I'm over here. I'm in Ghana, y'all. So sometimes the internet just be it acts funny, and I don't know what that was about. But I'm gonna get back to it, man. Appreciate y'all for sticking through that. Hold on one second. All right,
So it's a
all right, y'all.
brief
So,
request to go over Tesla, but if we have enough time,
oh yeah,
just
for sure. Let's
putting
do
that
it.
out
We
there.
can go over Tesla right now. 'Cause that's actually a really great one, right? So, I was actually going over this on another class. And I'm glad you actually pointed it out because on Tesla, it's the same deal as what we were just talking about before. Let me actually add the swing and squeeze back on. All right, so on Tesla, we had a sell signal up here. This sell signal came on the 25th of September. Stock still went higher, and we got a yellow caution candle, bearish engulfing candlestick right there where we start turning around, and then we get a 4 for 4. And that was before we dropped today, right? So on Tesla, very easy to spot. We were running hot, got a yellow caution candle, huge bearish engulfing candlestick. We've been in a sell phase on Tesla this whole time. And now we have just now started to head lower and got some nice strong confirmations. Here is my first target on Tesla is 354. Well, actually, there's another target up here, actually, but I don't think that this one's going to stand very long. This one right here. I don't think this will stand very long. I think we're probably going to blow right through this. And there's also like this whole region down here actually could be a zone for reversal, but I don't think none of that's going to stand very long. I think we'll probably come back and retest this area here at the 350s. This was a previous area of resistance before Tesla broke out to go on that run. So I think we'll probably see somewhere around the 350 area. That's what I would look for on Tesla. But yeah, it works the same way. But I think what I was talking about at the time before we got cut off is just the fact that we had everything pointing to the fact that this was likely to start turning around up in that area. Even though we had an irrational buy signal that kept going, it was giving us buy signals with cautions on the chart, as well as us just being in a very, very, very overbought area and zone. So again, these are some potential areas. And if you guys already have the cheat code, you come in the settings, come down here to order blocks. You can turn order blocks on and off. Very, very useful, very helpful tool to have. It gives you a lot of nice, potential areas of support, potential areas of resistance, etc. All right. Now, last thing I want to show you guys is how to set up this this screener so that you can now identify different types of stocks. Right now, with China being the main thing in focus, right? The main thing in focus right now is tariffs on China. What type of stocks do you guys think are going to get hit the absolute hardest if we get into a tariff war, a tariff trade with China? 100% China tariffs. Tech, potentially, yes. Construction, Amazon potentially, right? But what does China really supply? Retail, boom, retail, consumer goods. China supplies a lot of retail consumer goods to America, right? So if there's 100% tariff on retail goods, who do you think is going to be the least beneficiary? And I'm gonna actually tell you guys something else. So we have the cheat code flashcards and even the textbooks. There's a company that we work with to ship these products to everybody when they purchase them. We don't ship them ourselves, okay? These guys literally do nothing but import, export. Two Indian brothers, right? Amazing guys, amazing folks, and they do a lot of import, export. You know what they told me? They told me that one of the best hustles that you could get into this past summer was actually going to collect Christmas trees from people who are selling Christmas trees on Facebook Marketplace or giving them away for free because it's summertime. They're giving their Christmas trees away because they need to clear out space, right? Summer cleaning. Okay, why would Christmas trees be a good hustle for somebody to do in at that time? Well, Trump had put tariffs on Chinese goods. China produces 95% of the world's Christmas trees and ornaments. So with the tariffs hitting, these companies buy these products 6 months, 7, 8 months in advance, sometimes a year in advance. So if the tariffs were hitting around the springtime of last year, they were getting hit with those tariffs. A lot of those companies now either didn't order Christmas trees or order them at extremely high prices. So if you collect Christmas trees during the summertime for little to nothing, there's going to be a big market for people who are going to buy Christmas trees on the secondhand market instead of buying it from the store for twice the price because of the tariffs. You now can sell it you get it for $5 off Facebook Marketplace during the summertime or free. You can now sell it for $50, $60, $70 in the springtime if you have somewhere to store it, like your garage. All right. So this is how things how the retail market works. Retailers like Walmart, Target, etc., they buy their products from China months in advance. They buy summertime goods in the wintertime, they buy wintertime goods in the summertime, etc., right? So this is how these things happen. So these companies who, Walmart, things of that nature, are going to get hit the hardest. Chinese companies also, right? Alibaba, JD, any company that is Chinese or retail, tech will also get hit by just secondhand because tech is just overbought in general. Tech has been leading any reason in the world to come down to reality at some point. So we're going to see that happen as well. All right. So we'll probably see the entire market get very bloody. If this is your first time going through a bear market, just sit tight and stay the F. And I know we got some kids out here, so I'm not going to use the words I want to use. Stay out of short-term options trades. All right. Unless you are scalping, and you know what you're doing, you're getting into puts in and out of here. Stay out of short-term weekly trades. Your option contract expires at the end of the month. At this point, you're not picking up anything under 4 or 5 months of expiration, at least. All right, this is not the time to get freaky out here and think that you're going to just buy these weeklies and make a bunch of money. All right, unless you know what you're doing. All right, unless you know what you're doing. So what I want to show you guys is how to basically customize this list to now we want to find retail stocks. We want to find Chinese stocks. We can either do it manually by coming in here, and I could come in here and I could say, you know what? I want to see Walmart. I want to see Target. I want to see, HD. I want to see who else? Alibaba, JD, Neo. I want to see Procter & Gamble. I want to see who else? Who's some other good ones out there? Let's see. Y'all give me some ideas. Some other stocks that we could look at shorting. Oh, Nike. Nike's a good one. Nike got a lot of they do a lot of Chinese labor with Nike. Right. I see what you got. Uber. TSM. Yep. TSM. Kroger. Yep. TSM. Kroger. Amazon. Spotify. That's the one I was looking for, but Spotify is not going to be part of that. Spotify doesn't do any Chinese imports, unfortunately. So that has actually been staying a little bit strong. But we'll see. And we got from Bob. All right. So let's just look at what we got there. All right. So this is literally, we're looking at what we got here. We got Target. Target is giving us a breakdown on Target. So if we look at Target, TGT, that means Target was previously in a consolidation zone. Sure enough. And this is actually a beautiful trade setup because if you see here, Target actually formed something called a bear flag. So let's actually look at a couple things. And I know this isn't what we talked about in this class, but I just want you guys to see something if you're already familiar, right? So up here we had kind of this head and shoulders setup. If you know what a head and shoulders is, it's a setup that basically looks like a head and shoulders. And it basically, we broke below that. All right. We broke below that. Then we got this classic bear flag right here. You have a downtrend, you have that right there, and you have that right there. All right. Nice bear flag. All right. So let's look at bear flag real quick. All right. Bear flag literally looks like this. All right. Goes down, does something like that, it breaks below, and goes down again. So if I come back here, what do we have here? Same thing. So we had a head and shoulders breakdown into a bear flag consolidation, and now we have a breakdown here again. And now also, let me ask you guys this. Does anybody else see anything that we've talked about on this class? Do you see anything as far as the candlestick goes that we talked about on this class already that stands out to you by looking at this chart? It's a candlestick pattern, bearish engulfing, boom. So not only do we have the bear flag, but we also have the bearish engulfing, and it's a yellow candlestick also. Mind you, this happened yesterday. So this happened yesterday. Bear flag, bearish engulfing, yellow candlestick yesterday. And then today, before the announcement of the Chinese tariff, blah, 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 before that happened, it already was giving you a warning sign that, hey, if you're paying attention, this is probably a time that we're likely to go down. And sure enough, we get that down, that huge candlestick today. And also on the cheat code screener, it tells you break down. All right. Same thing. Home Depot, same deal. Home Depot does a lot of work with China. A lot of Chinese goods come through Home Depot. And shout out to bro who said he made $1,000 using the cheat code screener. He just got it last week because we just dropped it really last week. And so here with Home Depot, again, you had a 4 for 4 to the downside. Strong sell, 4 for 4 downside all last week. So you probably got in somewhere around there, I'm assuming. And again, straight down, straight down, straight down. This is a classic 4 for 4 to the downside. Perfect. I mean, this was literally, it doesn't get better than this. This is what you're looking for when we talk about looking for 4 for 4 setups. This is what you're looking for. I mean, this is straight down, no consolidation, no nothing. All right. Now what we're going to want to look for at this point, now we want to see some key reversal areas. So if we pull this, we might be able to see some key reversal areas. So here right now, we're currently sitting at the 618 on Home Depot, but since this is going bear, go all the way down to the 786. But either way, we want to find times where this starts to turn around. We want to start looking for a period where this green level down here. It'll make a nice green button, and it'll start pushing to a higher point. We get a 4 for 4, maybe some yellow candlesticks, and start turning around. That's how we want to start looking at that trade to the upside. All right. Same thing down here. Here's another bullish engulfing candlestick, yellow candlestick, green triangle, bullish engulfing before it went to the upside. Also, this is what we're looking for, right? So down here, for example, this was the same thing, 4 for 4 to the downside on Home Depot. We get to blue candlesticks, get oversold, right? Yellow candlestick, green indicator, boom, we get a 4 for 4 back to the upside. It kind of chops around a little bit. Not a really clean signal. We don't get a nice 4 for 4 till we get up here. And this gave us some nice upside. But we want to look for something like that here on Home Depot as well. Nike got a sell signal in an oversold zone. Nike also has this huge gap on it right here. Nice big gap on Nike that we're currently in right now. Will that hold? I doubt it, considering the fact of what's going on with this tariffs, unless the tariffs, don't stand. Chances are this is probably going to blow through that and probably come down to our most recent order block down here at $50, most likely. Here also that when we did bounce on Nike on the weekly, we were oversold, got a 4 for 4, ran up from 50 something. We hit the order block area from here, and now we're heading lower. So the order blocks on cheat code algo, very, very good. This is strong resistance areas. And you can see how it got respected and then headed lower. And now we're probably headed to our most long time ago order block. This is an order block from God, like who knows when. It's an order block from like 2017. So huge order block on Nike. Nike's been getting hammered. So chances are on Nike, we'll probably get some nice bearish action. This is easy put work. There's nothing on Nike that is likely to turn the boat around at this point, right? So you could probably take puts here very safely, right? This order block literally goes all the way back to freaking 2017. So we probably are safe for puts on Nike, at least to that area there, at least. Let's go to TSM. TSM on the weekly had a nice strong upward action. We just got, this is one of my favorite things to see right here on the weekly time frame, is a yellow candlestick with a red indicator at the top of a nice strong move. It's easy trade to take right there. You got order blocks worked the last time, right? This is the order block from back in 2024. The last time we ran down, hit that order block area, made a yellow candlestick. And again, we're now looking at something similar. Here's another order block here, 238. So puts on TSM is possible there. If we pull Fibonacci, you can see that the fib levels also, would you look at that? The fib level also coincides nicely with the top of the order block, almost perfectly. So TSM could potentially bounce off of that area, right? This is be an area I'd be interested in buying TSM, especially long-term if you were buying stock, which I suggest everybody do. If this market pulls back the way that I'm saying, buying stock or buying leap options. You can afford to buy leap options down here, and you get a signal from cheat code that it's time to buy. It's got a 4 for 4 to the upside down in this area. This is the number one way to get wealthy in this market, is to do just that. All right. I think y'all kind of get the idea. Let me kind of pause for a second, or at least stop.
Yeah.
I think that was a lot for one class today. Hopefully y'all got a lot of value out of that. I just want to see everybody win, because, what we looking at right now could get very ugly. And if you're not careful, and you are out here thinking that shit is sweet, stuff is sweet, excuse me for my young folks out here, if y'all think stuff is sweet out here, and that, it's business as usual, and you see everybody, there's going to be a lot of people on social media who are going to keep on talking about buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. And yes, they're not wrong. Buying the dip does work, but you need to know when to buy the dip. And you want to buy the dip when you have time for the dip to keep dipping just in case. So buy stocks, buy stocks, buy stocks, buy leaps, buy leaps, buy leaps. Do not buy the dip with the monthly expiration option contract that expires in a few weeks. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'll say it again. Do not do it. Don't get caught up playing puts with weeklies. You buy puts and you think you're going to get in on the weekly, unless you are following, you're in a live trading group and you trust the people you're trading with and you're trading with a small percentage, maybe. All right. But if you're out here making your own trades, do not go out here butt naked trading, weekly or monthly, 1 month expiration option contracts, trying to play puts, and damn sure don't hold it overnight. Because with Trump, you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. All right. So again, guys, textbooks, grab these if you want to study on your own. The videos new videos be uploaded on this probably by the end of the month. 4-week trading master class starts November, first month of November. So,
hey, quick question. Somebody
something?
was saying when you change the time frame on the chart, how does it
Yeah.
impact the screener? Does the screener automatically adjust to the time frame,
Yeah.
or
So the
do
screener
you
is
need to
giving
change
you,
that natively?
the screener is going to give you signals off of the time frame that you're looking at. Now, I am working on an update, the next update, the V7 update. I might just go straight from V6 to V8 just off of strength. But the next version of the screener is going to have higher time frame analysis, so you can see if it's in a buy signal on the higher time frame or the lower time frame. But basically, the way it works right now, if you switch your chart to the 5-minute, it's going to give you signals on the 5-minute. So what stocks is breaking out on the 5-minute, what stocks is in consolidation on the 5-minute, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right. So long story short, y'all, tap in. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, the 4-week masterclass gonna be worth it. I'm gonna put everything I can into that. It's gonna be homework assignments. We're gonna use the textbook. So it is gonna be one of those type of things. I don't think anybody out there has a class like that with a physical textbook. So make sure y'all definitely get that. A lot of value packed into it. And if you want the algo, definitely grab that as well. Lifetime access if you want it, or monthly if you just want to try it out. Definitely do that. I have to get home. It's currently 12:40 a.m. where I am, so I'm about to hop up out of here and get home because I'm tired. And it's hard to get Ubers out here where I'm at, so you gotta
Yeah.
Ubers.
Hey, real quick, let me answer
Yeah.
something somebody asked in the chat. The
Yeah.
4-week masterclass starts in November. We'll round up everybody that purchases. You'll receive an email after the fact, probably tomorrow. After we check in with the support team, just to make sure we got a list of everybody that purchased, and then you'll start getting communications as a group. So just look out for that for everybody that purchased. Those who wanted to send an email because they wanted to get the bundle, do so. We'll make sure to get with the team and just make sure everybody gets a response from them. So yeah, just look out for communications going forward.
The bundle's definitely gonna be definitely far. So the bundle is gonna be, so it's a stack for the algo and a stack for the 4-week masterclass. Get it together. It's only $1,500 for both. You'll get lifetime access to the algo. You get the 4-week masterclass, and you get the textbook and flashcards mailed to you. So for $1,500, can't really beat that. So just send an email. We'll send it over to you if you want that bundle. Oh, Jason. Okay, Broad Street Bully, bro. I didn't even recognize you, man. I never knew your name all this time, bro. You've been one of the
He
realest
OG.
people
You've been in here.
ever. Yeah, super OG. Super. Link for the bundle. Send an email to support@cheatcode.com if you want the bundle. And we'll also send it out via email. So if you're already on this particular call, the email will be out in a second.
Said
Never got the
IPO.
flashcard. Oh,
Wait
it's
on
sold
it.
out. Adele, send us your address. If you want the flashcards, we'll send you a pack since they were always sold out. They're available now. So
Yeah.
They've been sold out since they was invented. Trust me, I know.
Let me get
no.
let
The
me get that
textbook
link
been
for you
sold out, but
guys.
the flashcards is back. Flashcards
That'd
are
be
back.
fly.
Yeah,
Listen,
we
I'm
good,
from the
man. We
old
had to,
crew,
take
so
some
it's different
time.
for me. I'm from the old crew.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I'm from the old
Oh, for
crew.
sure,
It's,
for sure,
it
for
hit
sure.
different for me, brother. I'm from the
Hey,
old
you on a
crew, the
plane
real
right now?
Chico, the originals.
Yeah.
The
The OGs.
OG?
2020.
Damn, man. That's
Hello, how
crazy.
you
That's crazy.
doing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Shout
2020?
out.
Charmin and all the heavy
Damn,
hitters, and
bro.
Bucky
All
and,
right, man.
yeah, and Kimberly
That's
and
right.
yes.
That's right.
And Keo and everybody. All right, man. Send us your address. We'll send you a pack on the house, man. Send you a pack on the house. And you on an airplane
Everybody
right now.
sign
That's
up.
crazy.
Chico is the real deal. Sign up. You won't regret it. Let's go. Put your
Hey,
money where
Let's
your
go,
mouth is.
man.
let's go.
Appreciate
Shout
you.
out.
Appreciate you. Much love. Have a safe flight. Have a safe flight.
Yeah, travel safe.
All right,
Thank
y'all.
you.
So,
I love
all right,
y'all.
y'all. So,
We'll see you guys later, man.
yeah. Somebody said V4 to get the V5. Just the link. Just grab the link. We're gonna send out emails to everybody. Emails to everybody. Just check your email if you want anything that we have. We'll put an email together that has everything in it. So y'all just stay tuned. I'll send the replay out also. The replay will be on there. I'll also post the replay on YouTube. So y'all have that together as well. Appreciate y'all all the hearts. Much love. All right, y'all. See y'all later.
All right, y'all. Have a great night.
All right.
Peace.
Good night.